Well, I'm up here at Noble Records, and what's new? But looks like Dylan has acquired a bus to go along with his van, and he is going to kidnap a bunch of children and put them on this bus. The bus is going to be full of records from out of Noble Records, and he's going to make them learn about these records and enhance our youth. That is the goal here in America.
Morning, VC. All right, got quite a few records we're going to get into today. And so we're going to get into it here. Starting out, Carolina Soul had two amazing auctions go off on the same day. They did in the first part of the auction post a few dead stock copies of records, and I probably already showed this one and talked about it, but it ties into this auction into the next record I'm going to show. So I'll show it real quick again. They had the estate of Kiko Jones, so it was all of Elvin Jones's stuff. Clothing he wore on stage, and this is of course the great drummer from John Coltrane's group, and leader on many a great jazz record. Some of his autographed drumsticks were on there. The funeral program for John Coltrane was on there that had belonged to Elvin Jones. That went for close to $2,400. I think it was $2,300 something like that. That's Smithsonian type stuff. But the dead stock records were cheap. They were $30. Buy it now. So you were able to get this ahead of the bidding auctions ending. And I did get Elvin Jones is On the Mountain with Jan Hammer and Gene Perla on the PM label from 1975. This cooks. Absolutely cooks. Moog and electric pianos from Jan Hammer. Electric bass from Gene Perla. This is really, really dope record. And Bill got a copy also. And I'm pretty sure I talked about all these same things in a prior video, but it ties into the other records because there were some great ones that had belonged to Elvin Jones. A lot of them inscribed or from the artists to Elvin and his wife. And I've been listening to some records recently that include John Stevens on drums from the UK, like Bobby Bradford and the like, and the Spontaneous Music records. And so this one is one I honed in on, and I feel bad because I sniped it from Ryan Dye, our friend in Baltimore. He used to have a channel, and he's good friends with Logan up in the Chicagoland area, and he kindly asked me to send him some clips because I don't think you can listen to this on YouTube. And I sent him a clip this morning on Facebook in our Vinyl Champions group. And I'm going to play some more of this so everybody can kind of hear this. It's a great free jazz record. Johnny Diani, Freud Gerstad, and John Stevens. Detail, backwards and forwards, forwards and backwards on the Impetus Records label from the UK. Recorded in 82, released in 83, I believe. And it's inscribed to Kiko and Elvin with love, John. He had started to write it up here, but the pen was dead. And I think this pen also died at the end, and he went back to the other pen and it was already dead and had a hell of a time with it. But this is going to be cherished. I mean, this is a record that belonged to Elvin Jones and his wife. So this is an absolutely fantastic listen. And we'll show you the label, and we'll throw her on the table. And Neil drop it somewhere where I've never heard of this sax player from Norway, and he's fantastic on this. So we're going to see if we can maybe pick this up where he comes in a little bit more. the other major auction they had going on at the same time, and the auctions were ending that Sunday and Monday as well, was Paul Ream's collection of impulse records. Earlier in the year, some of his rock records had been put up for sale by the family. He was a collector in Atlanta, and one of the most complete collections on earth was in his house of impulse records. Years ago, he got in touch with me because he saw one of my videos, and I had showed a Chico Hamilton record, and it was one he was looking for. He wanted to know if it was a OG mono, and because he was hunting that. I helped him find a copy, but it was passing through that impulse because he collected just, you know, the monos, the stereos, the promos, everything, all OGs of every title. And I was thinking the family was trying to figure out how to keep the collection together because it's such a complete impulse collection, like, I mean, insane, you know, all the spines together. And Dylan from Noble was friends with him and had stopped in his place in Atlanta on a trip to New Mexico and seen the collection firsthand. But it ended up going up for sale for consignment, and so I'm kind of honored to have a copy of this from his collection. Archie Shepp Fire Music, his mono promo. I've been looking for this record for probably 6-7 years, and held out, and now I have this fantastic copy with the original insert, and there's your white label. Some great stuff here from Archie Shepp. It's called Fire Music for a reason. That's exactly what it is. Ted Kerson's on trumpet, Marion Brown's on alto, Joe Chambers drums, just to name a few. Fantastic stuff. All right. And so I was at work one day early in the week, and there was a record that I had seen at Hardy Boys that I wanted to go back and see if it was still there. It's a reissue of Spacemen 3, recurring. One I did not have of theirs, and Superior Viaduct reissue. And interestingly, this had a poster for Dead Kennedys in here. I forgot to get it out, but yeah, it's the poster for their first record, and I think it's from a reissue though. I don't think it's an original poster because those are probably worth $100 on their own. Yeah, there's your labels, pretty plain there. There's some good psyche, spacey sounding stuff. Some of it reminds me of the Verve, stuff like that. I dig it. There's really not a bad song on this at all. I don't want to say sounds the same, but it's a nice listen. I dig it. So grab that, and it was cheap. Next, I got, I think, 4 records from Permanent Records. They've had some great stuff popping up recently, possibly from the French dealer. Could be he's got stuff on consignment with them again. Not sure though. And I did get this is cheap. This was like $12. Billy Bang, outline number 12. This is on the celluloid label. The lineup on this is absolutely stunning. Billy Bang on violins. There's a couple more violin players. Frank Lowe's on soprano. Charles Tyler's on clarinet. David Murray's on this, on bass clarinet. Con Jamal Vibes. Sonny Murray on percussion. Yes, sir. Stevens on the drums going off. they had this. I didn't have any records on the Leo label. Anthony Braxton composition number 96. Yeah, so I haven't gotten into all these records yet. I need to listen to this one still. But very cool to find a record on Leo, and it was normal price. I'll show you that label. There's the Leo label. And I'm not sure if this is him solo or what. We'll find out. Maybe we get into that one. I believe it probably is. A UK original copy of that. Let me see if it's got any. Oh no, he's got a bunch of players on this. Oh, there's cellos, bass, harp. Oh, this should be fantastic. This is actually conducted by Anthony Braxton, so he's got a large group here he's conducting. Fabulous. I didn't even know what I was getting with this. I just saw Leo Records and Cheap and Braxton. I hit send. Wow, very cool. All right. Next up, this is one Alex saw in that auction, said I needed to grab, so I did. The Digga Rhythm Band. This has got a bunch of tablas on it and other percussion, and it's got Mickey Hart's in this on traps, gongs, timbales, and timpani, and a whole host of guys here. So this is really cool record, and just a stunning cover artwork. I'll show you this is from somewhere in the 70s on Round Records. Not Rounder Records, but Round Records. They're not square, they're round. So there's that one. And then the last from Permanent Records. They've been putting up a bunch of Acora stuff from France, which is why we think it might be that French dealer. And so I did grab one, Turkey, the traditional music, Acora. Not the, I think this was originally released in 81. This is an 85 or 86. No, an 86 reissue. The Turkish stuff is so good. Let me see if I can show you the label. The Acora. Label from France. Do all these great ethno records. They had a ton. They've had a ton of them on there, and I think a lot of them are still available, and for very reasonable prices. Yeah, excellent. Love the Turkish traditional music. Next, I've got a couple records. I hopped into Lunchbox quick Friday after work. Haven't been doing that as much this year as I normally would have, but I had one new release in mind, and that's all I was going to get. But I did quickly look through the used jazz, as I like to do, and I found this record, which I've been looking for many years. Chick Corea is on Solid State, his free jazz effort, with Woody Shaw on this. Yeah, this is some avant free stuff from Chick Corea, if you can believe it. And there's your Solid State label, and this is an original gatefold first pressing. It was probably like $15, so I was really excited to find this. Late Chick Corea. I didn't have very many of his records. I only had 2 of his records, and one of them Sherv had gifted me when I was out in California. One of his ECMs, which is a really great record. But that one was great to find. And then this was the new release on the International Anthem Recording Company label out of Chicago. Asher Gamedze and the Black Lungs, Constitution. Just a gorgeous presentation, as always, from this label. South African jazz, a big group. A lot of percussion, a lot of drums. It's a little bit long, but really, really good. Yeah, and I don't know any of these musicians. But there's, piano, bass, drums, some tenors, some altos, some cornet, trombone on here. Big group. Double LP. Yeah, this is a nice one. So there's that. And then we get to yesterday. And I had no plans for yesterday other than I was going to a movie premiere at the Milestone here in Charlotte. It's been here since 1969. You've had bands like REM cut their teeth in that club. Nirvana was like Bleach, before Bleach was released, I think. Black Flag during the Damage tour played the Milestone, and I've been going to the Milestone for 29 years, going on 30 years, and I've filmed in the Milestone since 2020, or sorry, not 2020, 2000, so 24 years. When we went into the year 2000, and it was a documentary about how to save a Milestone and how they were pretty much going to lose the business, and they had a buyer step up, and so they have a new landlord, and he's cool about keeping the Milestone there at the moment. Things can change, but it's been that way. I think he got it in 2020. And they made it somehow through the pandemic, and it was a really good documentary. Very pleased with it, and it was cool to meet the makers of the movie and give them a little extra history that I know about the Milestone. But anyway, before that, the last minute, Weinbender said he was coming to town, and I didn't know until meeting up with him that he was here on some serious business. He was picking up a bunch of equipment because he's now DJing down at Greenville, and he was getting a couple pro DJ tables with the cases from Scott, and so that was his main deal. But he also was able to get some digging in. Brought another DJ from down there from the DJ group. They call them, well, it's interesting. They call themselves the Pharaohs, which is really cool. And and his name is Eric also. So it's Eric and Eric. And I got up to Noble Records because that's where he always goes first to pick up some exclusives that Dylan always has that he's into, a lot of the psych stuff. And I got there. I always go when they open, so I was there early. They weren't even going to get there till 12:30, so I got up there early, and I let my friend Brad know, who lives in the area, that I was at the shop, seeing what he was doing yesterday. He's like, yeah, I can meet you out for lunch, and maybe dig for a few records after when your friends show up. So, kind of a last minute thing with Brad, but he came out. We had some barbecue at Rock Store Barbecue, and then got into digging for some records at Noble. When I got there, because I did 2 digs at Noble basically the same day. When I got there, before meeting up with everybody, I did find this first in the used section, Ann Arbor Blues and Jazz Festival 1972, recorded live at Otis Spann Memorial Field in Michigan. There's a promo copy. It's a double LP, released in 1973. It's got Sun Ra on this, doing Life is Splendid from Space is the Place. but it's got a lot of great blues musicians on this, which is what I was more excited about. There's the gatefold. So that's the original promo. The Atlantic label's in beautiful shape. This was like $12. So I've been meaning to pick this up for years. I've seen it a lot. I've always passed on it because it's been in bad shape. This one's in nice shape. Howlin' Wolf's on here. Hound Dog Taylor, Otis Rush, Muddy Waters, just to name a few. Dr. John. What a show this had to have been to see live and in person. Freddie King, and then of course the Solar Myth Orchestra with Sun Ra. I mean, you got Sun Ra in there with all these monster blues artists. What an incredible show. And very cool that they put this out, you know, and got this recorded and put to vinyl. The next thing I found in the new arrivals was Death 3. Of course, the Hackney brothers from Detroit that moved to Vermont. And I didn't have this one. The cover is absolutely trashed. But it was $8. So I was like, you know what, that's a fair enough price. The record's minty. So I was like, I'll grab this because I don't have these songs. So this is, I think, this wasn't released till 2014 on Drag City, but I think these are songs that they wrote in between the period of being Death and the fourth movement when they got to Vermont, when they started to move more Christian rock. But it's still them. It ain't, you know, it's just, I think, just more like the lyrical content kind of changed for me. The music's still killing it. Love this band. Death. David, Bobby, and Dennis Hackney. Yeah, awesome. And then this was their Motorhead On Parole. It's an 82 UK press. I think the original was maybe 79, something like that. No, UA artists label. Motorhead I did not have, so I grabbed that, and a beautiful copy. Looks unplayed. And then this was a record. This is my brother's all-time favorite band. And this just looked to be in really good shape, other than a little bit of ring wear, but that's what happens with, especially with this record. But it's a 1971, and I forget the pressing plant, but it's the first one listed on Discogs, and everything matched up with the Matrix and the Dead Wax and everything, of Doors' LA Woman. And that's their little Noel Records ultrasonically cleaned. So they cleaned this one too before putting it on the shelf. It looks to be in great condition. Very happy to find this. I've told the story a million times, but I've met John Densmore from the Doors. Came to my college at Fredonia. He was doing his book tour. And it was right around the time the movie had come out. And it was a question and answer type deal with him that day. He had a little drum kit set up, and he would do little things on the drums, and then he took questions and answers, and everybody wanted to ask him about the movie. And so he got a little frustrated, and he goes, I'm telling you, 90% of that movie was fiction. If there were naked women on stage with us in Miami, I wish I was there to see it. He just cracked me up. Very cool. You know, of course, talked about the book. And he also talked about how Jim, you know, said Jim was really into the booze and the drinking. But all the other stuff, he said, not as much. He didn't see that. So all that kind of carrying on, he said, you know, fiction. So that's just coming from, you know, the drummer of the band. So that's what I grabbed, and then I had lunch at Rock Store with Brad, and then we came back, and Brad's now digging for records, and that's when Eric and Eric showed up, and they were finding a bunch of 45s and 12 inches. They were really kind of honing in on things they can use for DJ purposes, for gigs down in Greenville. So that was really fun to see them doing that, and I actually found a Trouble Funk record that I put in Winebender's hands that I'm pretty sure he bought because it's jamming. It's go-go music from DC. Not something you run into every day, at least around here. And I was cheap, but he was head bobbing when he was listening to it on the table, so I knew that was going to be a winner. So yeah, it was fun. Then, of course, he had to head straight to Lunchbox and pick up his turntables. We didn't spend a whole lot of time in there, and then got a bite to eat and a few beers at the Irish pub here in town, Workman's Friend, which is phenomenal. It's run by a family out of Cork, Ireland, so it's legit. The fish and chips is off the chain. The shepherd's pie, they have, you know, Smittix on draft. It's fantastic. They have Ardbeg. They got all kinds of different liquor in there. That's fantastic. So we hung out there, and they have a whole new section of the place. Used to just be, you just go in, it's just dark, and it's just a bar and places to sit to eat. Now they have a whole kind of open air section to the street with TVs in there to watch football on and all that kind of thing. So it's added a whole second bar. So that was cool. And then they ended up going to, we ended up going to Premium Sound because he had a bunch of soul 45s, soul and funk 45s, and those guys just went to town looking at those and grabbed stacks of those to use for DJing. And so I'll show you the records I picked up from those shops here. And I did get one more record when we went back to Noble. And I was happy to find it. I was looking in the punk section for something else and stumbled on this. Crass, The Feeding of the 5000. This is not a first pressing from, I think, 79. This is a 1980 reissue. But it's in perfect shape. Mint record. There's a little bit of creasing on the cover, but not much. Great UK punk. I didn't have any Crass records. This pickup's pretty much inspired by Tied Down TV. If you don't know that channel, you need to check it out. Those guys are freaking cool. So there's your label, and the really cool packaging with their records. And this one is a big, you know, it folds out into a poster. So it does this number, but then folds all the way out. Let me see if I can show you the poster here. It's gonna be a pain in the ass, but we're gonna do it. It says, "Your country needs you." This is massive. I don't know if it's like a dead hand or whatever. But yeah. So Crass. And like I said, I've never found any of their records around here. So that was cool to. I guess a bunch of them had come in, and this was the last. Maybe the last. No, there was one other one, but it was a more recent reissue. But they had two left from, I guess, a complete collection of Crass. So happy to grab that one. And I did get a new hat because my other Noble Records hat was nasty. That needed to go in the T-Rash. But and I grabbed one record from Lunchbox because I'm going to see this band this coming Friday because I get free tickets from work. I hadn't seen this band in 20-some years. Megadeth. And yeah, so we're going to have some metal here on the channel, which is rare. Like the sighting of a unicorn. The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. So this came out in 2022, so it was, you know, kind of inspired by the pandemic. But Dave Mustaine, I guess, beat cancer, and he's great on this. He's still got it. I dig the video that I saw of the one song. So this is pretty much kind of like homework. You know, I catch up on their new material, so, you know, when I see the show, you know, I know what I'm hearing. Double LP, just not the any of the crazy variant ones or anything like that. Not the lenticular cover or any of that kind of business, but just the standard 180 gram double. And it was like $20, so used. So I was happy to find this. So I don't think they had any. They didn't have any new copies available. So they just had one used copy. And it had got good reviews. Everybody in the metal world was kind of stoked for this one, as far as I knew. So I was happy to get that. And then I got one record from Premium Sound and Luke. Another one like the Crass. Completely surprised to find in the bins, and just the whole reason why we dig for records. This is a group, I want to say probably Dom turned me on to not too far back. I've always been into Slint, but I've never branched out and checked out what the musicians did after leaving. And their guitarist David, he's done a bunch of different projects, been in a bunch of different bands. He's been in Tortoise, he's been in all kinds of great projects, but his own kind of solo stuff is really, really good. And this is one of them, Papa M, and it's live from a shark cage. Double LP. This is on Drag City, and this is I think a 1999 original pressing. I think that's the year. And it's just a plain on the orange on the inside there. I'll show you the inserts are just plain colors there. I'll show you the records. Really cool labels. And this is he's just a hell of a guitar player. This is awesome, awesome stuff. So yeah, a wide variety of records here. Kind of a long video today, but that's just how it goes sometimes. And it was great to see Winebender at the last minute there. And stoked he was able to get them turntables, and he's tested them out, and they're good to go. So that's going to be fun when we go down to see him DJ next time. Hope you're all well. Peace.